Hi everyone, Sandman here. This video is brought to you by a donation from the Purple Pill Philosopher, and here's what he has to say. Hi Sandman, thanks for your channel and best wishes. I made a donation because I wanted to make men aware of what I think is actually growing with regards to a trend against women. Type female-led relationships or FLR into search engines and you will see exactly what I mean. I stumbled across this by accident and wanted to warn other men. If a woman suggests this or talks about goddess training, then beware. What may start with promises of exotic sex life and passionate relationships is really the first steps in complete subjugation. I was wise to what was really behind what the intentions truly were. To encourage other men to investigate, I've also presented this topic for you all to consider. You stand with the rabbit hole, gentlemen. Please step forward, investigate thoroughly, but do not submit. Well, Purple Pill Philosopher, thanks for the donation as well as your topic request. I had no idea what goddess training and FLR were until today, so I started looking for information and found a good website link that I'm actually putting in the description called aboutflr.com. The concept is quite simple, a man that wants to basically be led by a woman. Before I looked at the page, I thought to myself that maybe such men were raised by single mothers, so he's been taking orders from a woman during his formative years and his teen years as well. So it might feel comfortable for him to take orders from a partner. But apparently there's more to it than that. Here's a quote about female-led relationships. He might ask to participate in pampering her in intimate ways. He might ask to serve her like a butler. Many men want the woman to rule over him, making demands and exacting punishment for any infraction. This scratches the surface of where men want to go for FLR. So FLR to men is deeper and richer than simply being led by a woman or following in a supportive role. It is erotic. You should note that any man asking for FLR is crying for help. There are some real or imagined issues that are solved by FLR as well. It may be an issue of safety motivation to be a better mate, an obsession with kink, deep desire to serve, a penance for something that he did wrong, and an effort to save the relationship, as well as a statement of untrustworthiness or a fanatical idea to worship a woman or women in general, unquote. In my own life, I knew two relationships where the man was perfectly happy to be his woman's bitch, and he actually enjoyed it. In both cases, the man actually came from a single mother household. He's had practice listening to the demands of women, and not only that, but he prefers it because it actually makes him feel like he's pleasing his mother. Apparently, like MGTOW, FLR also has a level system with regards to interactions with women. Female-led relationships also have 4 levels. Level 1 is the low-key female leadership. She lets him take over more housework and pamper her a bit, but there's no kink and fantasy. This is what most women probably mean when they say they want a man to help around the house. Level 2 is moderate female leadership, and this means that the woman is motivated to listen to the man's pleading for help and possibly help him manage the money if she's better at it than him. She's still unsure of the whole thing, and just for the record, these 4 levels or objectives are poorly written, and I couldn't seem to actually find any solid points for the first 2. They were both probably written by a woman, and as we all know, when a woman writes something, it's a lot of text and it doesn't really say much. It's a bunch of bullshit, and we all know that bullshit baffles the brain. Level 3 is all about women that are actually sold on this idea of leading and needing for controlling the man. These women are called formals, and they take control of what is known as the man's 5 food groups, including his free time, finances, life direction, where he's going as a family and couple, sex, and household chores. From the woman's perspective, apparently she's trying to see if she can make things better, and apparently she cares deeply for her mate's well-being and is showing it. So that's level 3 in a nutshell, and that doesn't sound too different from a married man's life right now. The average woman already controls a man's life in many of these ways. So what if she controls the spending? Because in most relationships, the woman already allocates 80 to 90% of how the money is spent in the household, with regards to vacations, food, furniture, and pretty much everything else. All of this sounds like, to me, it's actually an attempt by women to get the remaining 10 to 15% of the money that the man has for himself, and to take control of that as well. With regards to controlling the type of relationship it is, women already control that pair bond through shame by constantly asking you when you're going to propose, when we're going to have kids, etc. With regards to sex, the woman also controls that too. When she has a headache and isn't interested in you, nothing happens. But when she wants sex, she basically attacks you like a wild hyena. That's also been my experience with women in sex. When I'm doing something important, they don't seem to care, and I have to stop to service them. The final point I want to talk about is the woman dictating the chores. The man already does the chores outside the house, and this once again is a way to get him to do all the chores inside as well. This sounds like the woman who's actually wanting to squeeze the last little bit of utility value that she can for herself to make life just a little bit easier. Level 3 is a great cover story to gain complete submission from the man. Finally, we get to level 4, which is extreme female leadership. Let me read a little bit from that section because it makes more sense than parts 1 and 2. So here goes, and I quote, "Extreme female leadership is difficult to describe to an observer because it is so intense. Women who practice this likely have taken their man and made him a servant, object, pet, or even slave. She likely enjoys elements of BDSM, bondage, dominance, sadomasochism, and masochism. Those involved in BDSM practice things that most people don't want to know about or discuss. If you can imagine your man naked, wearing only a dog collar and a chastity device, kneeling very still while his leader places a leash on him and trains him with the whip to obey her every word, you can visualize the extreme nature that these relationships can take. I hope that people understand that that's what these couples want, and they should not have to deal with outsiders creating feelings of guilt because it has already been agreed upon. Understand as well that we don't discuss BDSM much on this website." Unquote. So there you have it, folks. A man naked wearing a collar doing whatever the woman wants him to. Doesn't that sound absolutely great? She wants to take the last little bit of dignity that he has, as if she hasn't already taken the rest. Women have so much control and power in our society that female-led relationships are just the last attempt for women to squeeze blood from a stone. They want that last bit that he has left to give. This arrangement also formalizes things, therefore he can't say that she's controlling as a woman or demanding, because after all he surrendered the control to her formally. He has given her his blessing to be a bitch. So if he ever complains in the future, she will simply remind him about their power dynamic and what he's already agreed to do for her. The sad thing is I know men like this that love it when they actually hand over power to their wives. The majority of men will just hand it over, otherwise she spends time annoying him to break his spirit. She asks him useless things or questions his every single decision. She wears him away emotionally and then he finally gives in and does exactly what she wants anyways. But this way the man doesn't need to be broken in. He's already willing to give up his free will without a fight. Why a man would do this is probably because he never had free will to begin with. He was probably his mother's pet and it feels the most comfortable for him to become his new wife's partner pet as well. He has no dignity to give up because he was raised by a single mother and he never learned to think for himself. That's my theory anyways. In my opinion, the majority of women would never want to lead a relationship because leadership means responsibility. And we all know that the majority of women out there don't want the blame or agency in case anything goes wrong. After all, in almost every single relationship I've had except one with a Filipino woman, I was the one that was expected to make the decisions and be decisive. If I didn't do that, then not only was I not given any attention, but they also tended to lose all respect for me rather quickly. The advantage of being in a female-led relationship becomes apparent when she's the primary breadwinner and he doesn't do much and wants to spend money enjoying his life while she's off at work. Then suddenly, almost miraculously, she wants to lead the relationship because if she didn't, he would actually get to enjoy his life more than she did. Remember that I've always said that women find the best way to maximize resources, be they a man's or her own. She's not going to leave any cash and prizes behind on the table because that's not part of her nature. She's not going to come out into the open and reveal that she has control of the relationship unless it gives her some kind of an advantage that she didn't have while it was still covert. If she's the main breadwinner and holds the power in the relationship, then it's possible that she could play that particular power card and tell the man what to do. I've seen some women that were making the vast majority of money in the relationship, and they turned their husbands into lackeys, going out and picking up their dry cleaning, cooking for them, doing the laundry, but the whole time they were banging other guys on the side. Sometimes they were banging family friends, and I saw some really awkward things at funerals because of it, but I'll spare everyone the details. But the bottom line is that if a woman already has everything in a relationship, the looks, the money, then basically holds all the power cards, she's far more likely to use them and demand that she have the right to lead the relationship out in the open. But like I said, even if she doesn't have the overt power, a woman has covert power, and she usually gets what she wants. Speaking of overt power, I put a link in the description showing a female-led relationship in the making. It shows a wedding in Nanchang in Sichuan province in China where the woman is wearing the tuxedo and the man is wearing the dress. Apparently she thought she looked fat in the dress, which is probably true, so she got him to wear the dress instead while she wore the tux. She had gained a lot of weight since the couple met, and she actually bought the dress a while back, so she decided that she wasn't going to wear it. Obviously this is probably done for added attention because we all know how much women love getting attention and making headlines. I'm also sure that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in China shared this on their social media pages. It's increasingly taking more and more to stand out online, so people are resorting to whatever kind of sensationalism they can. Here's a quote from that particular article. Worried that she might not look good in her wedding dress, Wu apparently pushed for Wu to wear one instead. Initially reluctant, Wu eventually relented. Sometimes you just have to put yourself in her shoes. It's the key to a happy marriage, Wu said. Unquote. So there you have it, folks. Another man that buys into the bullshit of happy wife, happy life. I guess we all know who wears the pants in this particular family, and this picture is begging to have a slogan over it that goes something like this. Tux rental $300. Wedding dress $2,000. The look on your face when your wife makes you wear the wedding dress on your big day, priceless. For some things in life, you can't put a price on them. For everything else, there's Visa. Also, if men could carry babies, I'm sure that this guy would already be pregnant with half a dozen cats in his belly. He'd probably be the one asking his bride, in the leadership role, do these cats make me look fat? She would probably say yes, now get into the kitchen and fix me a sandwich, bitch. Anyways, that's all I've got to say for today. Thanks again, Purple Pill Philosopher, for your donation, as well as your topic. Don't forget to check out the MGTOW mystery link and like this video. As for everyone else out there, please follow me on Twitter or like me on Facebook to get tomorrow's video today. Thanks for taking your daily dose of red pills. And remember, a red pill a day keeps the overt female dictators away. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.